So who exactly is it that is doing these confirmed tests and things? Because to me, that leads a lot of credence to whether or not it is credible, as if I can trust the people that are actually performing these tests.
These are fully accredited colleges and or scientific firms or whatever. These are big name scientists, and these studies have been very much so. These studies have been published and duplicated.
7%, motherfucker.
I don't have any of my power banks or anything with me either.
I have the power.
You do. Where's your fucking sword?
Titty butt. Where I left it last time. Fucker. Asshole. How about that? Mm-hmm. Welcome to...
No. This was just supposed to be a test. Don't do me like that.
No, we're live. I told you I was going live.
Yeah, to test.
No, you don't go live.
You said
to
I'm
test.
just going
You
to go live for a couple
live.
seconds real quick.
I never once said that.
Look at
I said
something.
full disclosure, going live.
No, there was a little bit of speech there.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking tricked me and you know it. And you fucking know it.
You love it.
No, not so much. I wasn't ready.
To do what?
I wasn't ready.
Oh.
You know I have my preparations and stuff. I
Yes.
have to...
He's got to put his preparation H on.
I have
We
to
don't have
check
any
the
viewers
room.
or nothing. Nobody's
Make
coming in
sure.
for nothing, never.
Make sure I don't have any boogers or...
Can't see your boogers anyway, whatever.
Like sticking out.
I mean, I've been recording our audio for at least 10 minutes now.
You're a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just the audio part that I can edit and...
We didn't say anything crazy. That's just me talking about cool science shit that nobody else but me is interested in.
Well then, is it objectively cool?
It is totally cool because I said it is, and
That's not how things work.
And since you weren't able to listen, I'm gonna do a whole episode based on these studies and
Remember earlier when I said
its implications.
every time a brain's out?
fuck you.
I'm not equating you to harm.
And
that has become like the worst fucking insult to anyone in our house.
What, blow your brains out?
No,
Just doing it?
that they're liking me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hell yeah.
They don't listen to our show. It's fine. Neither does anyone else. That's fine too.
No, I'm serious though. I'm totally gonna do an episode on...
I'm fine. Yeah, that's cool. I dig
studies
it.
and
Totes, 100% dig.
wind it around some other cool shit to stay in context or whatever, but yeah. Screw you guys. We're more than due for a new, for a new alien or UFO episode.
Yeah.
Like times 10.
Man.
We haven't done a conspiracy in who the fuck knows how long.
I mean, because, this month, sorry for missing the last month, folks. Things happen. We're adults with families now. When we started this show, we were both just two wild and crazy guys and living our own life, living the full of piss and vinegar and more piss most likely because Chris is totally into piss. But
I had a bunch of bottles of it all the time.
yeah, I won't talk about the time that you almost pooped yourself. I won't. Or the time that you did.
You mean plural?
No, the Walmart one where you
Oh, that's
where
probably the only one I told you
you
about.
finished halfway. he was a premature poop ejector. Is that what you would call that? Right down his pants on the way to the Walmart to do it with dignity. But instead, he karate kicked it out.
That's you know what?
You ate me on.
Full on, I don't give a fuck.
You shouldn't.
Truck drivers tend to be put into some pretty shitty situations.
Get it?
Yeah, the pun intended also. And some pretty desolate and desperate situations at times. And you gotta do what you gotta do. So, funny part is, though, that's the one you're mentioning.
Yeah.
That's obviously the only one I've told you about because
There are
it's
more
not
times
the
you
one.
shat yourself,
It's
though?
been there have been enough scares and weird situations that
I mean, almost shitting yourself is super different than actually shitting yourself.
well, sure, but there have been enough situations that I need people to tell me the rest of my own story. Because I only remember a couple of them. And, yeah.
Well, I think that...
Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, guys.
I think that means that you've lived an interesting life that's worth something, Chris.
Sure, I have.
I think
and
that
I
the more that
personally-
you almost shit yourself is the more that you were doing something instead of taking a comfortable shit.
Or stuck in a position where there was no toilet in a close enough proximity to me that I just couldn't make it in time.
Man, there's nothing worse than being like, oh no, I'm about to shit myself, and then, because I haven't done it. I can't remember the last time I actually shit myself. I had to have been very young. Not saying that
Look
it's
at you.
any different. I have been close enough to comfortably sit on a toilet. But I've had the scare a few times, and man, there's nothing worse well, I mean, there's actually a lot worse, but there's nothing more humiliating to yourself because of yourself than shitting your pants.
Oh, I'm over that part.
No, it shouldn't be.
That part doesn't even...
Having to change your clothes because it's full of your feces.
It's the inconvenience there.
It's the the extra time.
And you say full, but it not all poops.
No.
Fucking fill your shit up like a fucking baby diaper. Okay, it's sometimes it's just a single nugget that rolls down your leg and you can fucking flick it out.
It's like that video you showed me with the guy that poops on the floor in the mall and then an old man slips in it, and it's fucking hilarious. Every single time it is funnier than last. That, I've never had... I mean, I've had solid poops before, I'm sure.
Never had
But,
a single nugget.
it's never been to where, I could pick it up and throw it to a wall and it wouldn't just, slap, smack, stick to it.
No?
There's always some goopiness
You need to check your
to
diet.
it. I mean, I eat like garbage. I probably eat shit that is shit to make that shit. But I'm just saying, I've never had a completely dry, 2 day in the sun dog turd fucking roll out like a fucking bowling ball in a ball return.
Well, okay, so imagine
No. I don't want to imagine anything that's about to come out of your mouth.
the physiology, right? That's involved here. If you
I'm going
are...
to decide to think that means it's emotions. Go ahead.
No. It's
Don't you?
physical aspects of what's happening.
Specs.
Sure.
Did it again.
If you're already standing and in motion and it's at the back door and then it decides it wants to prairie dog or poke its little turtle head out.
I hate
That
euphemisms
turtle
having to do
head-
with poop. Sorry. It ruins turtles for me. It ruins prairie dogs. It ruins dogs. It ruins doors.
Sometimes,
to the rear.
just like when you got a big old fart, sometimes it just needs to let the little tip out to be able to release the pressure, and then the rest of the muscles can do its work to yank it back into safety.
My brain just threw up a little bit
So
inside my
that's
head.
how that would happen.
Because you had me imagining just the tip coming out, and it was like,
And then being that you're doing this motion,
I'm not anymore.
Your turd
when
kinda
that
goes-
when that shit right there happens, I sit the fuck down. I'm like, no, you will not. No.
in the middle of a parking lot,
And it will suck back into my brain, and then I can get rid of it when I go to the psychiatrist or something later.
you're no Maya Rudolph in a wedding dress, okay? That's not gonna fly.
She
You don't just sit down.
exploded. I'm surprised she didn't take flight. That, I'm sorry, that's a chick movie, but that is the funniest fucking movie.
That movie's
It's
hilarious.
so good.
That would be literally the only pass for stopping dead in the middle of traffic and just sitting down. And I think everybody would understand. But you would literally have to just come clean and tell everybody what's happening.
I don't think you could come clean after that.
No, you would.
Hey, Gringo. Okay, so here's the skinny for we're gonna do some live stuff
we
tonight.
can't
We're gonna do a
edit
live
any of
episode.
that.
No, it's all on
that's
YouTube
awesome.
forever. That's a lot of poop talk about
Jesus.
you pooping your pants.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You brought it up, or you let me bring it up. So we are going to do the first episode of the Christmas present from me to our listeners, the Jimmy Saville saga. And we're going to do it live on YouTube. It's being recorded to go onto all podcast platforms after I can maybe do a little bit of editing and helping it out audio wise. But so we're going to do the episode live, and then after we are done doing the actual episode itself, if there's anybody still hanging out here on YouTube, we will then actually hang out for a while and talk to folk and discuss what we have talked about. And
Yes, we could do that.
this is a gross one though, because this is all about mentally challenged child surprise sexing.
I'm not so sure it was much of a surprise, but
No, they knew it was happening. That's the thing. Anyway, so I think
It's an interesting one. I feel like we should have like a sit-in guest, a female guest. Like I wanted Regina to come and sit with us on this one because I imagine she would have some opinions from a girl's perspective.
you know
but,
what, she's too strong voiced a lady. I think she would.
Well, she wouldn't be angry about this subject. She wouldn't get
Not
angry.
that she
but
would be angry with us
she's-
about the subject, just that she would be angry with him enough to not let us talk about it.
No. She wouldn't do that. That would be the only reason I wouldn't. I would have shut that whole thing down. But she's fucking hilarious, and she would
She
have
is
had
pretty
fun stuff to say.
Melissa's hilarious. It's just that she's more funny when she's making fun of me,
Well, sure.
and I have to have some semblance of control
always
over the show. You fuck.
I guess
Rule number 1.
a female's perspective might have been good for
I
this
mean,
episode.
I figured that you would have enough practice in that
I'm gonna
line
fuck
of work.
you up on live. Fucking
I have a knife.
stream
I have a knife.
feed, whatever
I don't really have a knife.
you have.
Until I have a knife. Zero control. Thank you,
I'm sure
Green
I have
Go.
something.
So,
I think I got a safety pin.
this is, wait for it, welcome to another super duper live episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
Here we fucking go, this guy. Complete. But not limited. Ever, never, never, ever, ever.
Never a limit.
To
We're no
the
limit
UFOs,
soldiers.
conspiracies, and moitas. I thought I told you.
Is that a thing
Bitch.
that you were doing?
Yeah, no
I
limit
don't know.
soldiers. I thought I told you.
No, I'm not aware.
You was never a.
It's
you
no limit.
fucking lizards that's out here
There are
running
lizards
around
out
during the
here, yeah.
daytime,
We have
and
lizards.
get him to fucking snap right on it.
So, as graphic as that was, email us at snhnsnpod@gmail.com. Do it.
Do it.
Just do it. It's fun. It's fun to say things to us that we will
Do it.
almost certainly say things back.
Well, he will. He never gives me the chance to do anything, and
I mean,
in all
that's bullshit.
in
You have
all
the chance.
honesty.
All of it.
in all honesty, he's a lot quicker witted.
Well, it goes to things that I created as far as emails and things like that, but you have equal access to.
I never get notifications for anything ever.
It's because you don't. Anyway, so tonight is going to be part number 1. It's
Do it. Email us, goddammit.
it's at least going to be a 2-parter because this story is huge.
Oh, at the very least.
There's a lot of info to go through. It could possibly become a more substantial series of episodes, but I will actually do a disclaimer for this episode.
Are the investigations still ongoing?
No, this
didn't think
ended
so.
probably, I think 16,
No, it
14,
was that
16.
long ago?
Yeah, he died in 10, 11,
Oh, I knew that.
or 10 or 11. I don't know. We'll get there. I mean, maybe we'll fucking do it all tonight. I don't know shit. But
There's no way.
disclaimer: Jimmy Saville is a fucking horrible, almost the worst human being that has ever walked this earth. We will talk about things that might trigger people, like rape and the hey baby, and the assault and sexual assault of kids. It has to be talked about because it happened and the world fucking deserves to know this shit. So, full fucking disclaimer here, this is not going to be the easiest episode to get through. Hopefully everyone understands those reasons and everything, and
He's
we'll be
also-
able to sit through it because this person was a monster to many, many, many people for a long fucking time, and those people's story deserves to be heard, told, because they tried to tell it many, many times before this piece of shit died, and no one would listen. So, if we, take the time to listen now, hopefully that will fucking help.
Can I just
Yes.
throw it out there and say, for the sake of the show, that we probably haven't given disclaimers on nearly as many episodes as we should have.
Yeah.
And we're genuine when we give these disclaimers that we know how awful this shit is, but for some reason this particular disclaimer seemed a bit extra and a bit drawn out for the subject matter, just being as non-violent as some of the other shit that we've talked
Yeah,
about.
this
and
person-
not giving disclaimers for.
Person didn't cut people's body parts off or fucking kill
Well,
people or
I'm not at all
but-
saying that it was unwarranted. It's necessary because
Yeah,
it is
no,
some fucked
yeah.
up shit.
I'm
but-
saying that it's so fucking necessary, even though this person isn't the most violent person that we've ever talked about. This person isn't the most sadistic, even. I actually think this person, more than anything, had no feelings. And used that frame of mind to his benefit.
Not
I
all
guess.
sociopaths are murderers or ever think about murdering or hurting anyone else.
Hey, Jim.
Not all rapists actually ever murder someone. Not all murderers rape people. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different, different strokes,
for sure, pun intended. This
Actually,
is
that wasn't intended. Wow, that's terrible that
It
you
was
thought
a
it
good
was.
one,
That hurts my feelings a little bit.
I hoped.
So, we're gonna start out with just a little bit of background on Jimmy Saves. That's what I'm gonna call him. Although I couldn't name the episode that on YouTube because it just looked like it said Jimmy Saves. I'm like, that's not what he did.
That's not what he did.
So, yes,
Talk amongst yourselves.
he's gonna go pee in the yard real quick, guys.
That's
I'm
exactly
gonna
what's
talk
gonna
to you. He
happen.
can hear.
I shall return.
So he had an autobiography come out in '74 called "As It Happens," and in it he actually speaks about and admits some criminal behavior that he could possibly have been investigated for and or convicted of, which no one really fucking cared about his self-incrimination. He would joke to the press when they phoned him up for this, and he would inevitably say to their questions of, hey, Jimmy, are you a pedophile? He would say, she told me she was over 16. I'm guessing at the time, possibly the age of consent, or just a terribly off-color joke, if not. The authorities did nothing about the things that he said in his book, which, would hang around him for some time, I guess. But he claimed that the key to his success on the BBC, which is where he would find his largest success, he started out as a DJ in his early days. This is after Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, buddy. He was a British DJ. He was a television and radio personality. That's where the most of his fame and access came from. He hosted BBC shows, including Top of the Pops, which is where a lot of very large, very influential British bands got their, maybe not their starts, but their big push forward. And a show called Jim Will Fix It, where he would grant the wishes of people and children and stuff like that, which is not okay. So as a teenager during the Second World War. That's the street name, World War II. If you're nasty.
Nasty.
He worked in the coal mines, not cold mines, but the coal mines, as a Bevan boy. What a Bevan boy was a conscripted teenager that was made to work in coal mines to up production for the war. So they were fucking just like you would be for fucking to go into war. They were told that they had to go into the coal mines and make and produce more coal.
Okay, maybe I was. Now I get it, but at first I was confused because I do not know the definition of the word conscripted.
I may have used the wrong word.
Basically, like
no,
being,
conscripted is
like
correct.
being drafted.
Yeah, conscription existed 2 periods of time. Blah, blah blah blah. Yeah, so it's like being drafted, but to a job, I guess.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
why they would have to do that. Or
Yeah, because nobody wants to fucking work in a coal mine.
but damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, so
That's fucked up.
he reportedly sustained some pretty serious spinal injuries while working in this coal mine.
I bet he fucking did.
From a some kind of explosion or something happened, and he, for the next few or many months actually, had to live with a steel contraption of sorts to keep his spine together straight or whatever. And it says he walked with sticks. I'm guessing, like crutches, but sticks, because it's olden times.
Like damn near a splint for your spine.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Huh.
So,
Interesting.
he began his career in playing records in dance halls around England, just after, in his early 20s, I guess, because he was 18 when he was made to work in the mines. Yes.
Let me pause for a quick second. I just realized that the test you may have or may not have done but didn't tell me about.
Mhm.
How are my levels?
Oh, you sound great. You look great, too. You really do. Yeah.
I'm all the way over here.
You're
I'm
perfect.
good.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
You're good.
Cool.
I would have done something about it by now. So, he says in his autobiographies that he was the first disc jockey to use a twin turntable and a microphone, two turntables and a microphone. But we all know that was Beck.
I mean,
Beck did it best. He did it first, and he will do it again.
at the time,
Don't fucking test him.
it wouldn't surprise me. Now, is he taking credit for mixing?
No, he's taking credit for being the first DJ ever to use it to play music continuously, instead of having song change record, blah blah blah. Which it's untrue though, because they had been selling dual turntables in catalogs for at that time for 20 years.
What year is that supposed to be?
His career in there is
I mean,
mid to late 50s. Mid to late 50s.
Mid to late 50s, and you think they were already selling dual turntables?
I mean,
at
I
that
know for a
point?
fact that they were.
Really?
Yes,
For what reason?
for playing records.
So again, is he taking credit for? I get, at its basis, he's taking credit for adding a second turntable and a microphone to his radio DJ or whatever setup. But is he taking credit for actually blending the song ending to the song beginning, and then like actually DJing that way?
Maybe. I didn't ask him. I should have, but I didn't. I didn't get the chance. He's been dead for a long time.
I'm curious
Well-
now, and I think I'm gonna need to see some kind of proof on this whole fucking dual turntable setup in
Yeah.
the fucking 50s, dude. Because I can't imagine there were actual fucking
In the 40s, they had
in
it.
the 40s.
They had it. They were selling it in. This is such a tiny footnote of his life and times.
No, now I'm just curious about the actual times of the technology. What was
They had
this?
it. They had it in the 40s. It was in catalogs being sold publicly in the 40s.
Really, for just civilian household use?
No, it was military use only. Yes, for civilian use, for anyone that wanted to buy it and had the money to. Yeah.
Why the fuck?
I don't know. Shit. I also was not alive then. I could have asked someone.
You sure this is the 40s we're talking about?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to have to find an old person. A cool old person.
Find an old person. Just any old person will do.
I mean, obviously, I can look up the actual chronological history of record players and such, but...
Yeah. You could.
I'd rather hear it cool from an old person.
So...
And if any of you motherfuckers out there got some info on this and can prove to me that...
I mean, when I get to it on the next page that I have to go to, I'll show it to you.
I mean, that's fine. I believe...
You don't, though. It seems that you find me this too outlandish for belief.
I believe that it was technologically possible to produce a said device. What I'm having trouble with is everyday consumer use for such a thing.
I mean, I'm sure they were crazy expensive. Crazy expensive.
Well, yeah. You
know, so,
I would think so.
Do you know how much a Zune cost when it first came out? It was fucking expensive.
Ridiculous, but...
Man, I miss my Zune.
I mean, even in the 40s, it wasn't just a fucking...
Man, a Zune in the 40s would have been, like, a lot of money.
A Zune in the 40s would have made you a god.
So in his 20s, he was actually a professional wrestler for a few years.
You're really just gonna...
Yes. I'm gonna continue on with the episode. I'm sorry.
Alright, fine, but still, this is the last thing I'm saying. But still... If any of you guys out there fucking listening to this can give me a good reason and or actually talk to an old person and get them to somehow give me a good reason for why a normal consumer in the 40s would want or have use for a dual turntable setup. I'm so fucking curious because...
You know what? We'll have to ask Beck.
I refuse to believe that actual DJ mixing and cutting and shit like that was a thing.
You can refuse many things, like you can refuse to take a breathalyzer.
No, that's not saying the mixing board was invented or a thing at that time.
So, he was actually a professional wrestler for a few years.
That is pretty cool.
He would actually go on to brag that he had lost his first 34 matches out of like 100 and something, which is a lot, I think.
It's an interesting thing to brag about, I guess.
Yeah. So in his media career, he really started his big time disc jockeying at Radio Luxembourg in 1958. Luxembourg, and on Tyne Tees Television in 1960, in which he would develop a reputation for his eccentricities and being flamboyant.
Oh, he was that.
So,
if nothing else, this motherfucker was eccentric and flamboyant. Just as a quick side note, I've seen several documentaries on this dude, long, short, and in between, because I've known about this story for at least 5 or 6 years now.
Right.
And holy fuck, aside from just being information and numbers and shit, fuck, are these documentaries about this dude dry as hell. Especially the Netflix one that we tried so hard. Dude, we waited for 4 or 6 hour and a half long fucking episodes waiting for something to actually be exciting. It was the driest fucking shit I have ever had to watch.
I mean, I don't...
The information being terrible and all, that's all fine and dandy, but fuck, this shit was so dry.
I hear you, man.
Jazz it up. However, on a different note of something you just mentioned, we're talking about him getting his start in radio and TV. These, he was on a buttload of, like, a ton of different fucking TV shows, but the ones that he hosted, you were saying, you know, the
Top
talent
of the Pops
one,
and things,
yeah, it's kind of like the equivalent of
Soul Train.
Star Search or fucking Showtime at the Apollo.
No, it wasn't a we'll have people on and then we'll see if they're good and tell them yes or no, whatever. It was more there are established acts that are coming on this show, especially a few years later down the line after starting it. Like, the Beatles came on and played, and people knew who the fuck the Beatles were. It wasn't a
dude's name. I know what you're talking about. So more like
Soul Train.
Not a contest, but I mean, I wouldn't say Soul Train necessarily.
say exactly
It wasn't
Soul Train.
much of a live music show, even though they had it sometimes.
Top of the Pops.
Fuck, I can't think of the fucking dude's name. Yeah, well. Anyway, so yeah, you mentioned that, and then the fucking show Fix It with Jimmy, or Jimmy will fix it.
Jimmy will fix it, yeah.
Such a weird transition between those two things, and I think there were several things in between. But
yeah, they also did overlap each other for a while as well. Like he was a huge deal for a long time.
He was going non-stop.
For a super long time.
Stop.
Yeah,
and the Jim will fix it thing went on for a long time.
Yeah,
that was on for.
There was another one that it's called like Clunk Click something, which actually I think turned into Top of the Pops, or it turned into one of the other shows, but it all had started because of some ad campaign he was doing for seatbelt usage and something like that. But
so he made all the right moves to get himself all the right recognition.
Yeah,
from
he was a personality that people just latched on to and didn't question at all ever, which is why for a significant part of his career and his public life, because his private life was so fucking completely goddamn different, it involved him working with children and young people. He would visit schools and hospital wards. So he did Top of the Pops in 1964. And then from 75 to 94, he did Jim Will Fix It, which was an early Saturday evening television program which arranged the wishes of viewers, mainly children, to come true. During his lifetime, he was known for fundraising and supporting charities and hospitals, and in particular, Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Aylesbury, Leeds General Infirmary, and Broadmoor Hospital in Berkshire, whatever. In 2009, he was described by The Guardian as a prodigious philanthropist.
2000.
Fucking swallow that shit. And he was honored for his charity work. He was awarded the OBE in 1971. He was knighted in 1996. He introduced the last edition of Top of the Pops. He died in 2011 and was praised in obituaries and on TV for his personal qualities and his work raising an estimated £40 million for charities, that's a lot of weight to be thrown around.
Not to mention all of the money and resources that he did actually donate to charities and all of these other things. He actually did donate all these things, and he actually did get, organize, yes, fundraisers, but also basically like fucking work groups. Like when they were shorthanded at some of these hospitals and stuff like that, and they needed porters and they needed all this kind of stuff and people to help, push the beds around with the patients in it and stuff like that. He actually organized that several times, of big groups of people that would come and volunteer. And so he actually did do a lot of good. There was was something funny in all the documentaries.
Just real quick, what hurts me the most, or it confuses me the most, or makes me question the most, is he did technically do a lot of good through the money raised, but when that good was done exclusively so that he could fuck kids, is it good? It's like, I got all this money, guys, and I got it because I beheaded a bunch of puppies, but I'm gonna buy you guys a swing set. Is that swing set not just made of beheaded puppies?
Well, on one hand, I could answer that with absolutely no feeling or emotion whatsoever and say that sure, if you think too much on it, you want to fucking put all that, then yeah, but at the same time,
like if it buys, little Susie a new set of legs, so now maybe she could run away from the Jimmy Savile rapes. There's no way to make that funny. There just wasn't. I'm sorry, but
okay. So in this case, in this particular case, and Perhaps if it weren't as I don't know. Anyway, in this particular case, this many people were victimized,
Correct.
right? This many people were helped. So it's kind of like a Robin Hood sort of thing.
Robin Hood raped little kids.
No, I mean, I said kind of like, because there's no rich people involved in this whole thing necessarily, but it's, in a way,
He raised from the
scales outweigh.
bad to help the poor. I don't know.
It doesn't make it okay, doesn't
doesn't.
excuse it at all, but
Man, it
the
does
scales
not.
outweigh the philanthropy and the people that he helped and all of that do outweigh
You know,
the victims.
I think
I'm
all
not-
of this. I don't know what you would even fucking call it. All of this, introspective thought on the abstract of it all, I think can be saved till after, because
Well, sure.
there's a lot that we could stop and ask ourselves questions. And if God was one of us, just a slob like one of us, just a stranger among us walking amongst the.
All right, you got to
the
stop
other
that
guy.
now. I will then say
I think I only knew the first line of that part.
to finish that off and get back to the story. I will say that I'm glad our show is what it is and that we are who we are, because this is totally a subject that you would not normally, with good social fucking whatever etiquette, just sit around on live stream and wax our own opinions and whatever about it.
It's an awful song, yes.
So yeah, but we're gonna do it anyway because
So,
hail Satan.
so he claimed that his key to success on the BBC program Jim Will Fix It had been that he actually disliked children, although he later admitted to saying that he hated kids to deflect scrutiny of his private life away.
Which was the funny thing I was going to mention in all the documentaries that I have watched on him. The thing that cracked me up the most, which was technically a clue, a flag of some sort.
That's a red flag. We could say that's like a really dark red flag.
Well, no, not that particular comment.
Oh, okay.
But the whole thing about them always asking him about his private life. Obviously, you're a celebrity. You're in the light and everything. They're always going to want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
They would always ask him about his personal relationships with women or whatever, because they see him with women.
I mean, he did eventually marry.
They know he likes women.
He never had any kids. To answer
He did
someone
marry?
in chat's question, no. As far as I know, he didn't have any kids.
No, but he did actually marry? Because
Yes,
that's what I
yes.
was getting at. Was the
He
funny
did
thing.
have a wife.
He would literally always deflect away from the marriage or girlfriend or whatever conversation, and like damn near always put it out there that he is not getting married, which I thought was hilarious because it's much like myself.
So he was not only prolific. I mixed that up with the next word that was in that. Anyway, he wasn't only prolific in his obsession with doing these fucking horrible things and making sure that his entire career was basically tailor-made to make sure he could do these things. I mean, he didn't own a computer at all because he claimed he didn't want people thinking he was downloading child pornography, which is a bad thing for people to think. But if they would only think that because you're fucking kids all the time, then there's a deeper problem here.
There were claims for years. There were people that tried to come forward. There were situations that were questioned.
Everyone who came forward, everyone who was come forward to by these victims, immediately said, "No, he's too big. We can't do nothing about it."
Well, not only that, but they were...
Or it was shot down
off.
by the next rung up.
Right, because not only did he have friends in high places, but he would hold a Saturday brunch or Sunday morning brunch or something with all these fucking chief of police and the mayor and shit like that.
Ruined brunch
at his house.
Goddamn ruined brunch for me.
So Yeah, most of them did not believe it at all, and were thinking it was more along the lines of like a showbiz thing, where disgruntled
Or it's just
actors
smooth
and
and
actresses
and then
were, you know,
I didn't get that part, and well, that's a big part of it. Is one of the institutions that he would frequent was a girls' reformatory school, where the most, if not all, of the girls that were there were delinquents of sorts.
Right.
And who the fuck's going to believe a girl that had to go to that school because she was caught smoking cigarettes too many times at her other school? She obviously would lie about someone raping her.
Right.
Anyway, so